Welcome to Sun City News. I'm your host, Norma Taylor, and here are the stories we're starting off for this week's news show. We have all the details on the upcoming St. Jude's Walk. We check in with the founder of Libraries for Kids International. And later in the program, Chris Chase reports on the Bluffton Playground opening. Those stories and more are coming up. Sun City News starts now.
This is Sun City News. With our news team bringing you stories from Sun City and the Low Country. Taking the lead with entertainment news. And on deck is our sports report. Sun City News, from people you know, about people you know. This week's SCTV News starts now.
The Sun City Theater is sponsoring a St. Jude Walk fundraiser. Let's hear what they've got planned.
Kathy, what a privilege to be with you here today. You are the chairperson of a very exciting event sponsored by our theater group. We're having a St. Jude Walk here in Sun City. All right, you've got to give us the details, where and when.
Please come out Saturday, March 15th. Registration and donations at 9:30. You don't have to walk to donate or donate to walk. Short walk.
Oh, now, I have to understand that your theater group is probably going to add some extra activities that day, maybe zhuzh this day up a little bit. Tell us what we can expect without giving too much away.
Oh, we're going to have so much fun. We're going to have entertainment at the pavilion. This is not an all-day event. This is probably about an hour. We're going to have entertainment. We're going to show off our 2025 season. And when you come to walk or just come, dress up, put on a costume, wear a hat, whatever you'd like to do. We're going to make this fun.
Now, I know we're talking fun, but let's remind everyone, this is St. Jude. How do they benefit from fundraising events like this?
Now, St. Jude's is a 501c3 charity, meaning that we are tax deductible. Out of every dollar, 82 cents goes to patient care or research, showing that over the time, been over 50 years now for St. Jude's, and they have increased the childhood mortality rate from childhood cancer. It was at 20%. They are up past 80%. We're not going to quit till we're 100%. Get out here and help us, because no one pays for their care, their food, their transportation, their lodging. No one pays at St. Jude's. No one receives a bill. This is why we donate. Please help us.
Jim, Sun City Theater always gives SCTV something to talk about. And this time I hear there's something about outreach. Tell us about that.
Right. We don't have a formal outreach program at the moment. In the past, we had done a scholarship program for high school students who are pursuing an education or a career in the arts. My objective now was to try to, branch out into some of a more formal community outreach type of program. So when Kathy Salkowitz had mentioned the St. Jude walk that we wanted to do, I kind of saw that as our opportunity to get into a program on a more formal basis. And I saw it as kind of a win-win, because we could not only do something that would be useful for the community and for a well-known charity, but also to promote our club and to give a little more interest out to people that don't know a whole lot about Sun City Theater in the Sun City community here. So this is kind of our first venture into some type of outreach program.
I sense that many of your theater members must be awfully busy. Yeah. And you're now getting them involved in something like this. You mentioned that this was something that you had done. The impetus then was to recreate this?
I'm trying to kind of resurrect that in a way, in a different manner. And like I said, this was an opportunity we had to do that. But you're right. We are very busy, and we have a lot of volunteers at a lot of different functions throughout our theater. But we have a core group of people to do a lot of that. So I'm trying to reach out and get more people involved in the theater as a whole.
I think you've got a great opening act here, though, with that St. Jude Walk, because that's such a beloved charity.
We are pleased to welcome back Roy Austin, the founder and board president of Libraries for Kids International. Well, welcome back to Sun City News, Roy.
Well, thank you for having me, Nola.
All right, give us a little brief summary again of what does Libraries for Kids International, what do they do?
We create libraries in rural schools with limited resources. So right now we operate primarily in Kenya, Africa.
Okay. Now, how many schools have you created libraries?
In the last 6 years, we put books in over 9,200 schools.
Wow.
So that's roughly 2.3 million students that now have books that had nothing before.
And you started this only 6 years ago.
Right.
6 years ago, and you've got over 1 million books delivered to 9,200 libraries that you created.
Yeah.
That is an amazing success story, Roy.
It blows my mind, too.
So how do you fund all this?
We get donations primarily for individuals. And a few grants. We've had almost 700 different individuals or organizations that have contributed to this.
So this must take a huge undertaking and a lot of your time. And you started this just by visiting in Africa.
I can only play so much tennis, my body will stand. So I got to do something else. So I did libraries for kids.
So, and you're funded by all these charities and all these people
Right,
who fund you to be able to send books. How often do you send books over?
Usually once or twice a year. It depends on when we have enough money available to afford to pay for a container.
Okay. And what is your promise to these donors? What do you say to them?
100% of their money will get used to get books to kids unless they give me permission to use it for administration.
Okay.
So we were able to hire a CEO in August because a private donor funded the position for 2 years.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. Now you have a CEO. I understand she's a young lady, too.
Yeah, she's awesome.
So she's probably going to be doing a lot of marketing.
Yes.
Okay. And how often do you visit Africa?
I go there once a year, going back again in June, and this year going to Uganda, where we're laying the groundwork so we can expand to Uganda hopefully later this year, but maybe next year.
And open some libraries there?
Yeah.
And get some books over to the kids over there? All right, you've got a special event coming up called A Night Under the African Stars. Tell us about it.
This is our big fundraiser of the year. It's over at the Port Royal Education Center, Maritime Museum at the Wheezy Education Center. We've got a catered meal by Chef Bernard from Ocon. He's a rather famous chef. And we're hoping to raise a lot of money so we can afford to send more containers.
Okay. Now you end, Roy, every single one of your emails, every single one of your things with it's something called Grace and Peace, but you do it in African, and I don't know how to say it, so say it for us.
It's Swahili. It means grace and peace. Neema Nahamani.
Okay, and grace and peace to you, Roy, and
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
All right.
You are a wonderful, wonderful.
Appreciate it.
When we come back, our SCTV crew checked out the recent Meet the Author event. Chris Chase gets an update from the president of the Money Talks Club, and Georgia Lass visits the Avant Gardeners Club. We'll return after this brief break.
For our March edition of In Our Neighborhoods, we're going to start with the Edgewater neighborhood. We went to their game day tailgate celebration. Soon after, we went over to Riverbend and caught up with the Heritage Oak Place neighborhood. They were having their Have a Heart event. Also, we covered Sanctuary Cove's senior prom.
Reporter Georgia Lash attended the recent Meet the Author event featuring Cele and Lynn Seldon.
Cele, you and Lynn make up a writing team known as Seldon Inc., and you're largely known for your travel publications. So how, as writers, did you evolve into this great travel writing career, which we're all going to envy?
Well, it's a great question, and we get asked that all the time. Lynn kind of did the real groundwork, and he got involved when he was stationed in Germany in the Army, and he was traveling on the weekends and decided to release a little bit of his creative outlet and started writing travel stories for Stars and Stripes magazine. I came by it a little bit more easily. I married him, and it looked like a pretty good job, so I just kind of started traveling with him, and before you knew it, I was writing stories and helping with marketing and research, and it just kind of evolved.
Now, I think this is interesting because you've got some great travel guides that are pretty close to home for us here.
Yep.
So can you give us some examples of those so that maybe we can finally stimulate that GPS to take us somewhere other than the front gate?
Although the front gate's very nice. We do have a series of travel books. It's a series called 100 Things to Do in Blank Before You Die. And we've written two titles, 100 Things to Do in Charleston Before You Die and 100 Things to Do in Savannah Before You Die. And they're both real easy kind of armchair travel guides of things to do, places to go, places to eat, things to see, right kind of in our backyard. You can also Google travel articles and use the name Seldon Inc. or Lynn and Seldon, and all kinds of different travel articles will come up from the varied publications we've written for.
Now, as if you're not busy enough, you have added some novels to the Seldon Inc. body of works. Please tell us about those.
Sure. They came about because of a very fortunate meeting I had 15 years ago now with the novelist Pat Conroy. And he encouraged me to pursue fiction writing as well. He had looked at our nonfiction writing, our travel books, and encouraged me to pursue fiction as well, and even gave me the idea for my first book, which was about a coming-of-age boy at the college, Virginia Military Institute. Like Pat had gone to the Citadel and written The Lords of Discipline. So that first novel came out about 10 years ago now, and it's called Virginia's Ring. And then Pat and I, before he passed away, talked about a sequel to it, and that one's called Carolina's Ring, and that takes place at the Citadel and at VMI. So
I know we've had a chance to talk about those. Now, there is so much more to learn from and hear about these two authors, so please tune in to an extended coverage of Meet the Author in our March episode on Sun City TV.
The Money Talks Club keeps us up to date on the financial news. Chris Chase interviewed Greg Blackburn, the president of the club.
We're here in Pickney Hall with Money Talks, Greg, for coffee and donuts before the meeting. Who can pass that up? And great financial presentations. Now, you've got some changes coming up for 26, though, don't you?
We do, but let me just say that we're going into 2026 with some good news. Good news in the sense that the club has got 238 members. Typically, the presentations that we do are very popular, and often, usually, about a third of the club membership shows up for those presentations. We've got a treasury that is full. We have everything that we need for next year except one thing. We are facing a generational change in the leadership of the club, and a whole bunch of us are aging out or have other family commitments to keep, or are facing health issues. Only one of our current 7 will continue in a leadership position next year for the club. So our great task in 2025 is to identify, select, recruit, train, and bring online a pretty much complete replacement for our leadership team.
So you're saying you need like 6 people? What positions would they hold?
As a club, we have to have a president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. In order to do the business of the club, we need a program chairman and we actually need a number of people willing to serve as hosts for the speakers and topics that we present. We do 11 presentations each year. Those topics are really aimed at business, finance, economics, banking. We are not an investment club. We are a club that attempts to teach, inform, sometimes amuse our membership about aspects of economics.
Now, if one of these six was available, wanted to join the club and take the position, who would they contact?
Well, they could start with me as president, and that's Greg Blackburn, blackburnG45@gmail.com, 410-507-6098.
Yes, he is. Well, if you haven't come to Money Talks, make sure you make an effort to do it because you can learn so much from Money Talks.
Watch our avant-gardeners hard at work to keep our beloved hummingbird butterfly garden thriving.
They say the best things in life are free. And this cost-free amenity that we have here in Sun City, thanks to our avant-gardeners, is the Hummingbird and Butterfly Garden. It gives us the best photo opportunities, it gives us serene moments and healthy doses of Mother Nature. But that comes at a cost of the time and labor of our gardeners who maintain this beautiful facility. Let's catch them in action. Now, the history of the garden, because I'm always concerned that we have all these new people moving in. Give us just a little backstory on the Hummingbird and Butterfly Garden.
So the garden was started as an initiative by the Bird Club and the Avant Gardeners Club back in 2009, I believe. Maybe it was 7. Laid out just as you see now. The beds haven't changed. The perimeter hasn't changed. Of course, plants come and go, so there's been a turnover there. So we have a lot of renovation going on here in the garden, and the first step of that was the addition of heavier gravel on the path. And I want to thank the Community Association, which picked up the cost of that, both the material and the labor for spreading it. The purpose here was to firm up the path a bit, also to prevent the downpours that we have of soil, weeds, seeds, other debris washing from the upper garden, streaming down into the lower garden and entering the beds. Why it's called torpedo grass is there are offshoots in the roots that are pointed and look like torpedoes. Concrete come through rock and go from one bed to the other. So it was taking over this garden. We discovered it about 3 years ago. The only remedy for a situation as widespread as we have here is spraying on a regular basis with, unfortunately, a product like Roundup.
All the work that you're doing here is such a tribute to our neighborhood. Thank you so much for what you do. But I have to say, I know that you are doing this for the reason of the garden, the health, the beauty of the garden. But isn't our little hummingbird and butterfly garden sort of getting dressed up for its special occasion? We might say it's the prom for the year. What is happening in this hummingbird and butterfly garden, and what is happening with our avant-gardeners?
Well, that's exactly right. The big dance is coming, and I'm not talking about basketball here. On June 16th, Monday, June 16th, will be our biennial, that's every 2 years, garden tour here in the community, in the Sun City community. And this is a benefit for funding the maintenance and support of the Hummingbird Butterfly Garden.
Still much more ahead on Sun City News. Randy Selman brings us an entertainment report. Chris Chase checked out the Bluffton Playground opening. And sitting in for Doug Wright is Mike Romano with sports news. So make sure you come on back.
March does come in like a lion, roaring with events like St. Patrick's Day, Mardi Gras, and March Madness. Our March episode of Extra is pretty fierce as well.
Tune in to see expanded coverage of the Creative Vision and the Synchronet shows. Learn about the developments that are improving our surrounding counties, including the details on the Buford Memorial Hospital expansion.
Cable viewers, please check our program listings on the Sun City website. And most conveniently, you can always catch us on our YouTube station, where we invite you to subscribe for easy viewing.
We welcome back Randy Seldon, who is interviewing Eileen Wade, the director of Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, for this week's entertainment report.
Hi, Eileen. So nice to see you again.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, Eileen, from the words of the great Cole Porter, another opening of another show.
Oh, they keep on going, don't they?
They do. So give us a brief synopsis about A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Well, this plotine comedy goes all the way back to 2,000 years ago almost. And it has the stock characters that we use in everyday life. The husband, who is the jilted lover. The young boy, who is wooing someone that he absolutely is not supposed to have. And in this particular case, a slave, a very clever slave, who is out to win his freedom by helping the young lover have his girl.
Oh, wow. Well, in essence, this musical is written as a farce. So I guess there'll be a lot of sight gags, slamming doors, mistaken identities, and so on. I guess it takes perfect timing to achieve this effect. How do you do it?
With a lot of hard work. But I have a wonderful crew. Cherry Lane, who does our choreography, is doing a magnificent job. We have so much talent in this show. I am very excited. I think you're going to find that the timing is impeccable.
Great. Knowing that Zero Mostel played the lead, both on Broadway and the movie, how much did that weigh on you when casting? I guess you had the same issue with Fiddler on the Roof.
It's always daunting to have someone who is very famous. But in this particular case, it's the show that sells the actor. Everyone who's played this role, Zero Mostel, Nathan Lane, Jason Alexander, Phil Silvers, every one of them won a Tony for playing the role of Pseudolus. So I know that our own actors are going to do just as magnificent a job.
I won't miss the Tonys this year. So thanks so much. Oh, yeah, I had another question.
Yes.
Is there anything special we should watch for while seeing this show? What stands out?
What you want to see in this show is the talent that has come into Sun City. Magnolia Hall has called in so many people from outside of Sun City who have moved in here that we have so much talent. Our shows have just become almost as professional as you would see in New York. I have heard nothing but kudos, and I know you're going to apply some of them.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're not only excited to see the show, but also to hear what you will be directing next. A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum opens on March 22nd and runs through March 30th. Friday and Saturday performances will be at 7 p.m., with the Sunday matinees at 2:30 p.m. Tickets are now available at the Magnolia Hall box office. Tune in next week to learn more about the events happening here in Sun City and outside our gates. I'm Randy Seldon, and that's your entertainment report. Remember, life is so entertaining, so don't miss the show.
The new Riverside Bond Park is another example of the town's commitment to preserving open spaces and adding them to its park portfolio. In December 2018, the town of Bluffton acquired a 37-acre parcel at 200 New Riverside Road from Palmetto Bluff for $200,000. This property features a 2,700 square foot iconic barn visible from the highway. Construction of the park began in the summer of 2023, with Phase 2 expected to begin in July 2025. This aims to enhance event rental spaces and further expanding the park's amenities. Upon completion, the park encompasses over 37 acres, comparable in size to Savannah's Forsyth Park. The barn's renovations and added features are scheduled to be completed in late 2025. Chris Chase met with Mayor Larry Toomey to find out more about the park.
Larry, this is such a fantastic facility. What can you tell me about it? It must have taken a while to get into it.
Well, it's taken a lot of time, money, thoughts, opinions, and work. You know, that's the big thing, the work. This is not an easy task that's done in just a year. It's been in the making since 2018. You know, like I said a while ago, we figured out what we wanted to build and have for the people, but you have to figure out how you're going to pay for it too. You know, you just don't have $15 million sitting around to do a first-class project like this. But fortunately, we were able to figure it out and get it done sooner rather than waiting till we could actually afford it. So, you know, it's just an honor for me to see these kids out here and look around at this place and say, you know what? This is a home run. This is just about as good as we could expect to do.
Absolutely, and the kids and the parents look like they're having a lot of fun today.
Absolutely, you know, that's one of the big challenges today is keeping the kids outdoors and keeping them active. You know, it's so easy to watch video games on the television or computer, but it really touches my heart, which I have 18 grandkids, and I know all about trying to keep those on the ball fields and in the parks and playing and doing things physically instead of just watching television and sitting on the couch.
Yep, well, this is definitely going to keep them physical, and I'll let you get back because I know you got a lot of people waiting for you.
Thank you very much.
Now here's reporter Mike Romano with sports.
Last Saturday, the softball club held its spring season opening day. Ceremonies with the usual éclat. The introductions of board, teams, managers, national anthem, first pitch, and opening games. Our team was there to catch some of the action and talk to club president Holly Meckley. Let's watch.
Well, Holly, it's another opening day. We've had national anthem. We've had a first pitch introduction of teams. Tell me about the state of the league. How many teams we got?
Well, we're excited this year to have 7 weekend league teams and 5 ladies teams playing now, so we have 12 teams playing on Saturday, which is exciting. And we're going to do hot dogs every Saturday now, so hopefully we'll get a good fan base and be able to enjoy the games every Saturday now.
Okay, and got any special plans for 2025?
Well, we're hoping to add a batting cage this year. We're going to get shade over the picnic area so our fans can be cooled when they're having their hot dog. And other than that, we're just looking forward to having a good season.
Well, it sounds like you're going to have a good season.
Okay, so you know, opening day is a great day. It's like
Absolutely.
everything starts, you're 0-0, you know, it's the beginning of summer, or the beginning of spring. And you're ready to go. So what do you think your team's going to do this year?
Well, I'll tell you. We have in the women's league and also on our travel team, it's all about camaraderie, getting along with each other, helping each other improve, have fun, support each other, and get to know people. And hopefully, you know, the gravy is that you win.
Okay. And how many home runs you can hit this year?
I'm hoping for at least 1. It took me until I was 66 to get my first home run.
Oh, okay. And
I might not get one.
She's an amazing pitcher.
Okay. Well, okay, we're going to get a no-hitter this year then.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, it's great talking to you,
Thank
ladies.
you so
And,
much. And,
as I said, you'll be on SCTV.
Wonderful.
In our next report, we'll talk about yet another amazing feat by our traveling 60s team. Don't miss it. Now put those addictive electronics down and get that body in motion. Mike Romano for Sun City Sports.
To view expanded coverage of sports news, check out Doug's monthly show, Sports Done Right. Well, that's our news for this week. Thank you for watching. Catch us on cable and on our YouTube station, where we invite you to hit like and subscribe. And if you want to see expanded coverage of some of our SCTV stories, tune into our monthly show Extra. If you have questions and comments, email us at suncitytvhh@gmail.com. But make sure you check in with us next week for all the news that's happening in your neighborhood. For Sun City News, I'm Norma Taylor.